There's a bottle of white vinegar sitting in your kitchen pantry, worth more than most garden center products. The same gallon your grandmother kept for pickling and cleaning windows has real uses in the backyard too. There are 11 specific garden uses that most modern gardeners have completely forgotten about entirely. Gardening books written in the last 20 years rarely even mention most of these anymore. The reason isn't that they stopped working, it's that there's no profit in telling you what you already own works. 11 uses of household vinegar that genuinely belong in every single American garden today. All of them are safe when used correctly, inexpensive, and practiced for generations before chemicals existed. Some of them you've probably used incorrectly, since the popular online versions actually contain real mistakes. A few are quiet techniques that outperform commercial alternatives, and 2 will genuinely surprise you. I'll walk you through all 11, exactly how to mix each one, and exactly what to avoid doing. Some of what you've heard about vinegar is wrong, and I'll tell you which parts before you damage your yard. By the end, you'll have the honest, complete reference for what household vinegar can actually do outdoors. The order matters here. The 2 genuine surprises come later, so stick around through all 11. The very last one alone is genuinely worth the entire video, so don't click away too early. This isn't marketing fluff either. It's honest information gathered from decades of real gardening experience. Let's start with weed killing, the most common vinegar use, and also where the worst misinformation spreads. Before the formula that actually works, there's a warning most online recipes leave out entirely. The popular formula online combines white vinegar with table salt and dish soap together. That mixture does kill weeds, but it also permanently sterilizes the soil wherever it lands. Salt doesn't break down, doesn't wash away, and accumulates in soil for seasons or even decades. Spray that mixture in a garden bed, and anything you try planting there afterward will simply fail. Spray it near a foundation, and runoff can reach nearby shrub and tree roots and slowly kill them too. Salt in a weed killer is genuinely a permanent decision on your soil that you cannot undo later. The safe formula is the same recipe with salt removed entirely, nothing added back in its place. Mix 1 gallon of white vinegar with 2 tablespoons of liquid dish soap for the safe version. The vinegar dries out weed foliage, while the dish soap helps the mixture stick instead of running off. It works best on a hot, sunny day when the vinegar evaporates quickly right after contact. Spray weeds thoroughly until wet, carefully avoiding any plant you actually want to keep alive. Within hours, the sprayed weeds brown and die back, and within a few days, the top growth is fully dead. Here's an honest detail. Vinegar kills top growth, but doesn't always kill roots of established perennial weeds. For dandelion, thistle, or bindweed, you'll need repeated applications over several weeks to exhaust the roots. This technique works best on annual weeds in walkway cracks, patios, gravel paths, and driveways. Use it sparingly in garden beds, never near plants you value, and never combined with salt. Treat this like a targeted tool for hardscape cracks, not a general-purpose spray for the whole yard. Next is ant repellent, a problem every homeowner deals with at some point during the warmer months. Ants finding their way into the kitchen, gathering around pet bowls, or marching along porch steps. White vinegar handles ants through 2 related mechanisms that are genuinely effective when done right. Mix equal parts white vinegar and water in a spray bottle for the basic ant repellent formula. Spraying it directly on visible ants kills them on contact within just a few seconds. More importantly, vinegar disrupts the chemical scent trails ants use to communicate with each other. When a scout ant finds food, the path back to the nest gets marked with a pheromone trail others follow. Spraying vinegar along that path destroys the scent markers, and other ants lose their way entirely. Spray along observed ant trails, entry points, the base of pet food bowls, and outdoor garbage cans. Reapply every few days during peak ant season, typically late spring through early fall. The vinegar smell fades within an hour for humans, but ants keep avoiding those areas afterward. A gallon of vinegar runs about $4 and makes roughly 120 spray bottle refills. Compared to commercial ant sprays at around $9 a bottle, the savings add up across a season. The vinegar solution is also safe around children, pets, and food prep areas, unlike many commercial sprays. It's genuinely one of the simplest fixes for a problem that seems to return every single summer. Next is a seed germination boost, a technique professional growers have used for decades on stubborn seeds. Many seeds have hard outer coats that need softening before water can reach the dormant embryo inside. This works especially well on old seed packets, hard-coated seeds, and notoriously slow parsley seeds. Fill a small bowl with about a cup of room temperature water, adding 3 to 5 drops of vinegar. Stir gently, place the seeds in, and let them soak for 4 to 6 hours, or overnight for hard coats. The mild acidity helps soften that protective seed coating without harming the embryo inside. After soaking, drain the seeds without rinsing and plant immediately into prepared soil right away. Expect sprouting in roughly half to 2/3 of the time listed as standard on the seed packet. Old seed packets lose viability every year, and this technique genuinely rescues seeds you'd otherwise toss. Morning glory and moonflower seeds sprout dramatically faster after this simple vinegar soak. Parsley seeds, which normally take 2 to 3 weeks, often sprout within just 7 to 10 days instead. Beet and Swiss chard seed clusters separate and germinate more reliably after the same treatment. For those leftover packets from last season, this soak gives them one more genuine shot at growing. It's a small 5-minute step that can rescue seeds you'd otherwise simply throw straight in the trash. Next is a fruit fly trap, using apple cider vinegar specifically rather than plain white vinegar. Fruit flies are drawn to the fermented sweet smell of apple cider vinegar from across an entire kitchen. Pour about half a cup of apple cider vinegar into a small open container, like a jar or shallow bowl. Add 3 to 5 drops of dish soap, giving it just a single gentle swirl rather than stirring hard. Place the container near the fruit fly source, whether that's a fruit bowl, compost bucket, or drain. The vinegar smell attracts them, and they land expecting to feed on the surface like on a pond. Normally, surface tension would let them stand there, but dish soap breaks that tension completely. The moment they touch the liquid, they sink immediately and drown within seconds of landing. A small bowl typically catches dozens of fruit flies within a single day of being set out. Within 3 days, the entire kitchen population is usually eliminated using this simple trap. A bottle of apple cider vinegar runs $3 to $5 and provides dozens of trap refills. Compared to commercial traps at $6 to $12 each, the homemade version is dramatically cheaper. Empty and refresh the trap every 3 to 4 days, disposing of captured insects in the trash, not compost. We're 4 uses in, having covered the practical workhorses that solve everyday household problems reliably. The next use is the first of 2 genuine surprises in this whole video, and it's a big one. It turns a $5 grocery store bouquet into 3 weeks of fresh flowers instead of just 7 days. This is something most florists know well, but most home gardeners have honestly never been told. Use number 5 as a cut flower preservative, the single most surprising vinegar use in any home. A standard grocery bouquet usually lasts about 7 days before stems rot and blooms start drooping. The same bouquet treated with this formula and refreshed every 3 days can last 2.5 to 3 weeks. Personally, grocery store roses have stayed fresh for 19 days straight using just this formula. The formula has 3 ingredients: 1 liter of tap water, 2 tablespoons of vinegar, 2 of sugar. Stir until the sugar fully dissolves, then pour the mixture straight into your flower vase. Cut about 1 inch off each stem at a 45-degree angle so it can't seal itself flat against the vase. Place the flowers immediately into the prepared water right after making that fresh, diagonal cut. 2 things kill cut flowers early: bacteria growing in vase water and lack of nutrition to the stems. Vinegar lowers water pH and dramatically inhibits that bacterial growth and the slimy buildup it causes. Sugar provides the simple carbohydrate stems would normally get from the plant's own root system. Together, these 2 ingredients address both main causes of decline with genuinely remarkable results. Refresh the mixture every 3 days, emptying the vase, rinsing it, and mixing a fresh batch each time. Trim another 1/2 inch off each stem at the same angle before returning flowers to fresh water. Done right, a bouquet bought on Sunday will still look beautiful the 3rd Sunday following that purchase. A household buying fresh flowers weekly spends roughly $5 to $8 per bouquet on average. That adds up to $250 to $400 yearly, and this formula cuts that cost by 2/3. Roses, carnations, and chrysanthemums respond dramatically well to this exact treatment. Lilies respond well too, particularly Asiatic and Oriental varieties, along with sunflowers. Tulips and daffodils respond moderately, while soft-petaled flowers like peonies benefit least of all. For a standard bouquet mixing roses, mums, and filler greenery, though, this formula is genuinely transformative. It's honestly the single easiest upgrade you can make to how long flowers last on your table. Your grandmother likely knew some version of this, even if the exact ratios varied slightly over time. Next is cleaning clay and terracotta pots, addressing that white mineral crust every long-term gardener knows. Those white deposits come from minerals in your watering water building up on porous clay over time. It's harmless to plants, but makes healthy pots look visually neglected and dingy over the years. Mix 4 cups of warm water with 1 cup of white vinegar in a bucket large enough to submerge pots. Place the stained pots fully into the solution and let them soak for at least 30 minutes. For severely encrusted pots, let them soak for several hours instead of the standard 30 minutes. Remove and rinse with clean water, and the mineral deposits will have dissolved during that soak. For pots too large to submerge, soak rags in the solution and drape them over the stained areas instead. Replace those wet rags every 20 minutes for an hour or two until the crust dissolves and wipes away. Either method restores that warm orange-red terracotta color, removing years of buildup in an afternoon. Commercial mineral removers run $12 to $18, while this vinegar version costs about $1. For a gardener with 20 or so clay pots, switching methods saves $50 to $100 yearly. Next is bird bath and fountain cleaning, essential during summer when algae quickly turns water slimy. Commercial bleach-based cleaners work, but leave chemical residues that can sicken visiting birds. Vinegar is the safe alternative that cleans just as effectively without any wildlife risk involved. Empty the standing water weekly in warm weather or every 2 weeks during cooler months. Scrub the interior surface with a stiff brush, then pour about a cup of vinegar over the scrubbed area. Continue scrubbing for another minute or two, letting the vinegar dissolve algae and mineral buildup. Rinse thoroughly until the vinegar smell is gone completely, then refill with fresh, clean water. For fountain pumps, soak removable parts in undiluted vinegar for 30 minutes once a month. That single step dramatically extends pump lifespan, which mineral buildup would otherwise clog and burn out. Commercial bird bath cleaners run $10 to $15, while the vinegar method costs about 50 cents. More importantly, vinegar leaves no chemical residue that could harm the songbirds you're trying to attract. Cardinals, blue jays, robins, and finches all drink from and bathe in these water sources regularly. Their small bodies process chemical residue very differently than human bodies do, making safety critical. Acetic acid breaks down completely into water and carbon dioxide within hours of being rinsed away. Next is animal deterrent, keeping raccoons out of trash, rabbits out of vegetable beds, and pets away too. The technique works through olfactory disruption, since vinegar's sour smell is genuinely unpleasant to mammals. Soak old cotton rags or sponges thoroughly in undiluted white vinegar until fully saturated. Place them around the perimeter you want to protect, like trash can lids or vegetable bed corners. Refresh the soaked items every 3 to 4 days, or sooner if rain washes the vinegar smell away. This works particularly well on raccoons, whose extremely sensitive noses avoid the smell entirely. For rabbits, effectiveness varies, and determined populations may need physical fencing added too. For cats and dogs, results are moderate, working on some animals while others simply ignore it. A gallon of vinegar refreshes scent stations weekly across a garden for an entire growing season. That's about $4 total, compared to $15 to $25 for commercial repellent sprays. The technique is also entirely safe, since animals are merely uncomfortable rather than harmed at all. Next is soil acidification for acid-loving plants, one of the most misleading claims you'll hear about vinegar. The claim is that watering plants like azaleas and hydrangeas with diluted vinegar meaningfully acidifies soil. The reality is more nuanced, since household vinegar is a weak, short-lived acid that breaks down fast. It provides only a brief temporary pH drop that doesn't meaningfully change long-term soil chemistry. Repeated applications can even disrupt the beneficial soil microbiology these plants depend on. Mixing 1 gallon of water with 1 cup of vinegar gives a single application for a brief pH boost. That's useful when leaves show iron chlorosis, yellowing between green veins, needing a quick, temporary fix. Don't use this as a regular ongoing soil amendment, though, since it simply won't hold long-term. For genuine long-term acidification, use elemental sulfur worked into soil or pine needle and oak leaf mulch. Where vinegar genuinely helps is neutralizing alkaline buildup from hard tap water in container plants. Watering container plants with the diluted solution every 6 to 8 weeks helps offset that mineral buildup. For in-ground plants, though, stick with elemental sulfur and organic mulch for real, lasting results. Next is slug and snail control, the nighttime pest that devastates hostas, lettuce, and strawberry plants. By morning, the leaf damage is visible, but the slugs have already retreated to damp, dark corners. Mix equal parts vinegar and water in a spray bottle, then walk the garden after dark with a flashlight. Spray the solution directly onto any slugs or snails you spot actively feeding on your plants. The acidic solution disrupts their mucus layer, eliminating them on contact within just seconds. Important detail: never spray vinegar directly onto plant foliage since it damages tender leaves too. Direct the spray at the slug itself on the ground or a hard surface, never onto the plant. For severe infestations, combine this with shallow beer traps set into the soil at slug level. A gallon of vinegar handles a full season of slug control across a typical residential garden. That's about $4 total, compared to $12 to $20 for commercial slug pellets. The vinegar method also avoids the toxicity risks that metaldehyde-based pellets pose to pets and wildlife. We're 10 uses in, and the final one is the second genuine surprise mentioned at the start of this video. Most of what you've read online about this final use is honestly wrong, and it's worth correcting. There's a technique within it that actually works far better than most gardeners currently realize. Use number 11 is a natural fungicide for plant disease, and here's the honest, corrected truth. Household vinegar is mostly not an effective treatment for active fungal disease already on a plant. If your roses already have black spot or your tomatoes already show early blight, vinegar won't cure it. The fungal growth is already established in plant tissue, and a topical spray simply can't reach it. Most online recipes claiming vinegar cures fungal disease outright are genuinely just wrong information. Those plants would likely have recovered anyway with proper watering and pruning of infected leaves. What vinegar actually can do is work as a preventative spray applied before fungal disease even appears. The working formula is 2 tablespoons of vinegar in a gallon of water with a teaspoon of mild dish soap. Spray this on susceptible plants every 7 to 10 days during high humidity periods when disease develops. That's early summer for most climates, and late summer into early fall for late blight on tomatoes. The mildly acidic surface discourages fungal spores from establishing and germinating on the leaves. Here's the technique that genuinely works far better than most gardeners realize about this whole method. Combine the preventative spray with the most important fungal prevention practice in all of gardening. Water at soil level rather than on foliage, combined with thorough pruning for better air circulation. The vinegar spray contributes maybe 20% of total prevention, watering and pruning handle the rest. Together, the full combination genuinely prevents diseases that vinegar alone simply cannot cure on its own. Vinegar prevents some disease establishment, but it's honestly not a miracle solution by itself. The real miracle is in proper watering and pruning that keeps plants healthy enough to resist disease. The combined approach costs about $1 of vinegar per growing season for an average residential garden. The result is a noticeable drop in fungal pressure across roses, tomatoes, and other susceptible plants. That only holds true when combined with proper cultural practices, not as a standalone treatment. Anyone selling vinegar as a fungicide cure alone is really only selling you a partial truth. Understand what it actually does, and it becomes a genuinely useful part of a bigger prevention plan. So that's 11 uses of household vinegar that genuinely belong in every American garden today. 2 of them will genuinely change how you keep flowers fresh and how you think about disease prevention. The other 9 are practical workhorses quietly saving you hundreds of dollars a year on commercial products. All 11 have been used by experienced gardeners for generations, and all are genuinely worth trying. Most of the gardening industry is built on selling solutions to problems pantry staples already solve. The reason you haven't heard this isn't that it stopped working. It's that there's no profit in telling you. The honest gardening tradition in this country has always known what vinegar can and cannot do. Use the techniques where they actually work, and skip the marketing that oversells the rest. Drop a comment below telling us which of these 11 uses you're going to try this season. If this helped you today, go ahead and subscribe for more honest, accurate gardening content. The garden is yours. Use what's already sitting on your kitchen shelf, and let it do what it always has.